Well, thank you for joining us today to discuss some of the major points of Splunk's State of Security report. And I'm really excited to be joined today by Ritesh Agrawal, the Chief Growth Officer for Cybersecurity from Accenture, to share some of his insights. We're all familiar with Accenture, but it'd be great if you could give us a short overview of your responsibilities and the priorities as the Chief Growth Officer for the cybersecurity business.
Hello, James, and thank you for inviting me to speak about this important topic. Splunk Cisco is an important partner for Accenture. Um, about my role, so I am responsible for global sales and solution architecture for cybersecurity at Accenture. But the thing that I'm most excited about at this point is around reinvention. Now, as you might be aware, Accenture is going through a profound transformation of its operating model through the introduction of our reinvention services. We are doing something very similar within the cybersecurity world at Accenture. And as part of that, I am leading our cyber solutions team, which is an end-to-end go-to-market team looking at cybersecurity services from a end-to-end client perspective rather than from an individual offering side. So that's something that is new and really looking forward to it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the end-to-end part about it. When I think about cybersecurity, the first thing that comes to my mind is tooling. And one of the things that the State of Security report showed that so many security teams, it was just over 50% of their time was buried in tools, not cybersecurity outcomes. I mean, you need the tool to help drive the outcome. But why do you think we're battling with tools so much at the moment? And how can we shift that focus back to value?
What has happened, James, over the last several years is as clients um, have invested in protecting their environments, be it infrastructure or their applications. They have taken an approach where um, they tried to solve the problem here and now. And what that has resulted in is a really large, complex estate of multiple tools, creating the level of complexity which prevents them from focusing on what really matters. And what really matters is their real world cybersecurity operations and cybersecurity problems. Instead, they have had to focus their energies on how you manage tools, how do you manage data flow between tools. That has resulted in a lot of latent inefficiencies that have cropped into the systems, which prevents them from focusing on the right things when it comes to SOC operations and cybersecurity in general.
Yeah, and you picked up on a point there around data and data pipelines, and we definitely see that data gaps continue to slow decision making. And I see cyber resilience as two things you need. One is awareness of your environment, and then the ability to appropriately react. And we're desperate to be able to go and react to threats, but quite often we don't have that visibility into the environment, so we don't know how to react, and is that the right decision? So how do we move to a more kind of smarter, unified visibility of the digital systems that we're responsible for securing?
And so ultimately, in the world that we live in, data is key. And when we talk about data, we really need to start at the very beginning, which is the source of data. And again, due to the inherent complexities in the overall estate that the client today manages across its infrastructure, the sources of data are varied. They are from different vendors. Sort of you even have data distributed between on-prem and cloud, and then sort of within cloud, on public cloud, on private cloud. There are certain regulatory environments that they need to adhere to, because of which sort of there are requirements for air-gapped clouds now. So what that has created is um, um, an environment where data is being collected from disparate sources. It is, clients do not often have the ability to be able to make their data flow uniformly across their systems, which in turn then, impacts their cybersecurity systems, because ultimately you can only act on what you can understand. And, many of the systems, they are not equipped to be able to manage so many different and disparate sources of data. But I think, the core out there would be to be able to consolidate a lot of the data sources that clients have, and in fact use emerging technologies like, for example, AI, then to be able um, to to manage that data in a way that allows you to be able to build a more robust system.
And you touched on the magic word there, AI. So I think to recap, like what I heard from that was around that data strategy. And even if you're all in with one cloud vendor, you're still going to have a mix of PaaS, IaaS. You're going to have some SaaS vendors, some custom code. It's still complex. And I think thinking about data more as different pots of data that I might want to federate search across to be able to go and get access, rather than kind of battling it all into a single place, where I think that's more a utopian dream. You're never going to quite get there. We all know that data is the fuel for AI. It is the AI is everywhere, but and we hear a lot of talk about it. Where do you think the real strategic opportunity for security leaders is today with artificial intelligence?
So, James, at Accenture Cybersecurity, we look upon AI through two lenses. One is AI for security, and the other is security for AI. If we look into AI for security, that is where most of the opportunities for CISOs and the cybersecurity leadership today lies, where AI is providing us with a number of opportunities to automate, to remove manual, repetitive tasks, to be able to predict better, to be able to bring in more accuracy in the way we manage our data and in the way we play with the data. But at the same time, there is the other side of AI, which is even more important, perhaps, for security professionals, which is um, all the new avenues that AI has opened up. How do you secure that? I mean, our own state of cybersecurity report has found that majority of CISOs today are worried about how the LLM models are expose them to increased risks. They're also worried about how the threat actors would get access to the training engines on the AI models. We all know, what deepfake is doing in this world. So there are a number of emerging threats that come along with a very rapidly developing technology like AI, and which is where um, a lot of opportunities are created for cybersecurity professionals, but at the same time, there is a need for renewed focus on being able to secure all the beautiful things that AI brings along with it.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and it's one of the reasons we've taken that approach to go and kind of make sure products like our kind of enterprise security suite and AI defense are tightly integrated together, so you can go and tackle kind of AI protection with kind of specific kind of products and use cases. But when you detect something, you need to then be able to get that to the SOC analyst as fast as possible to look at the context of, well, what's my threat? What's my risk? Where did that come in? Is this a one-off? Do I need to do something? Have I missed something, not thought about it? Because I think that AI defense, if we don't get that right, you're going to get mistrust. And I think we saw kind of only 11% of people were truly all in on AI in the reports, because they're just not quite sure how to go and hand over kind of mission critical control to AI. So I think actually cybersecurity has a huge part to play in helping organizations with the trust of bringing more and more AI systems into their organization.
Absolutely. In fact, so the usage of AI over a period of time will only increase. It is here to stay. Um, and the sooner we can adopt AI securely and safely into our environments, the better equipped we will be able to really harness the true value of AI.
Yeah, and I'm an optimist. I'm actually really excited about kind of the future ahead, but also I think I'm also quite excited about some of the tough problems it's going to give us to solve. I think there's going to be some quite tricky ones over the horizon that we're going to have to put a lot of brain power into. So I think that's going to be really exciting. So you're in front of a CISO, one of your top clients. What would you tell them as the big bet? Imagine they're new in role, they're thinking about their first 90 days. You're coaching on that first 90 days. If you had to make one strategic investment advice to them, what would that be?
It's in one word, James: simplicity. Um, as I mentioned earlier, what has really happened in the cybersecurity world, and also you will see that in the SOC environment, um, um, as a result of proliferation of tools, the complexity that the CISO today has to manage across tools, across processes, across multiple levels of organization spread across potentially multiple geographies. Um, um, the core area for CISOs to focus on today is try and drive simplicity, because simplicity will then give them the ability to be able to get better visibility and control over their environments. It will enable them to save costs, and it will also then enable them to reinvest some of those saved dollars into building a future ready SOC operation. So I would say simplicity would be the need of the hour if I were to say one thing to CISOs today.
I think I love that because that ties into that kind of where we started with the tooling conversation. Simplify that down, reduce it from 50% of time on tooling to hopefully, let's say, less than 25% as an ambition. And you already now have capacity for detection engineering and kind of that future state. Ritesh, thank you so much for joining me for this session. Ritesh and I are going to go and do a deep dive into the state of security in a kind of a longer form webinar. So the link will be available just below this. Please have a look. Have a look at our state of security report. Ritesh, it's been a privilege to be able to chat to you about this. Everyone that watched, thank you very much. And once again, Ritesh, thank you.
Thank you, James. Great speaking to you.